My 32 male, girlfriend, 35 female, saved my name as Dad on his phone. I found out. How can I do? My girlfriend told me she was going to have dinner with an older coworker. I said okay. After that, I knew she was meeting her coworker for dinner. But then she sent me a screenshot of our chat. She said she wanted to show me that her battery was low, so I'd know if she couldn't reply for a while. I understood her intention in sending the screenshot. But in the screenshot, my contact was saved as Dad. She said she changed my name temporarily while she was with her coworker. She says it was just a misunderstanding and an accident. Like this. Babe, you're misunderstanding this, right? I only changed it for a moment while I was talking with my coworker. I can explain over the phone if you want. I haven't been answering her messages because I feel suspicious. She offered to call and explain everything to me, but honestly I don't know how can I doing. Added 1. I saw you at OO, but I'm not sure if you remember me. While I was with her, she mentioned that her boyfriend seemed to be misunderstanding something because she changed the name in Chatop. So, I feel like I'm not completely unrelated to this situation. I'm sorry if it's rude to contact you like this, but I felt I had to tell you that it really wasn't anything. I'm reaching out because I feel sorry and frustrated, but I apologize if this sudden message is surprising. 3 days later, today, I received this text from an unknown number. This is the female coworker she said she had dinner with at the time. I've met her once before together with my girlfriend, and on the day in question, my girlfriend also told me she was meeting this person. Added 2. I blocked her for 3 days. Her excuses like, I only changed it for a moment. It's a misunderstanding. I can explain. Just sounded lame to me. I work in law enforcement and I've seen quite a few cases like this. So, since she had no way to contact me directly, I guess she got in touch through the female coworker she claimed to have met that day. Thank you, everyone. It looks like she even called me about 5 hours ago. There was no notification, but the call log shows it's Samsung phone. I think it's time for me to stop hurting and start living my own life. We were together for 2 years, and she even proposed to me, but I kept dragging things out because I wasn't sure. In a way, maybe she was starting to feel impatient, so I can understand her a bit. It's my fault, and I just want to remember the good times. Where she tries to contact me again after a week, I'll have to tell her to stop. If she has any decency, would she really try to reach out again even then? Added 3. This is the last thing I'll say. First of all, thank you, really helped me make my decision. I hope all of you receive blessings. Before I block and delete the number, I saw a message she had sent. I thought I'd share just the key part. It feels like the least I can do for the bros. I added the notes in parentheses to make things clearer. My coworker was talking about how one of her students had saved her name on their phone using a swear word. While we were chatting about it, I showed her that the contact name on chat app can be different from the one saved in the actual phone. I said, Uni, older female friend, look, see? You can change it only on chat app. We were just casually talking back and forth, and without thinking, I closed my phone. I forgot to change the contact name back, and we just kept chatting as usual. Starting today, our group chat was full of messages about the parking permits in city. We also talked about our plans for the pension trip next week. My aunt's group chat was blowing up with notifications too, and when I looked at my phone, the battery icon had turned red. I thought I should let you know just in case, so I took a screenshot of the battery percentage. Without really thinking, I just sent the screenshot to you. It was just a moment during all the chatter. I didn't mean anything by it. But I think what I did might have caused you to misunderstand, and I'm really sorry for that. Honey, can we talk? I'm really upset and my heart hurts. Don't you want to talk and work this out with me? Honey, I really want to talk to you. It was my fault. It was such a simple thing. That's why I'm even more confused. Honey. Babe, you're misunderstanding this, right? I only changed it for a moment while I was talking with my coworker. In what scenario would it be inappropriate for her coworker to see her boyfriend's name on her screen? This makes no sense. She's too old to think those games are gonna work. Her ass cheating. So it took her 3 days to convince her female coworker to cover for her? She was obviously on a date with a guy and changed your name to Dad, so she wouldn't have to explain she has a BF. She's stupid though. Why not just use your actual first name, unless guy knew who you were? How could she say it was an accident? For 35, she is immature and ignorant. She sent you a screenshot in which she had changed your contact name. She's too dumb to have as a partner. It's a lot harder to be walked on when you are standing up. Update me. Elmao. Someone I was dating did this. She's cheating, dude. I'm voting you down because you have no idea how to write. My family and I, 30F, think my cousin, 28F, is faking her pregnancy. What can we do? I know this is going to sound fucking wacky, but I'm really at a loss at what I or my family can do. I, 30F, have a cousin, 28F. We'll call her W. who announced her pregnancy late last year. She should be due in the next month or so, but my family is having huge doubts that she's actually pregnant. I really should stress that we're not close at all. We were raised together up until I was around 6, but I genuinely haven't spoken to her in decades due to distance. My mom, however, is close to W's older sister, Z. Excluding my mom, we all live in the same city. My mom has been really worried about W and shared some new information with me I didn't know about. Last April, W made a post about how she would block anyone who made a fake pregnancy post for April Fool's Day, because she recently found out she was infertile. Very vague. Her exact words were, "I found out I can't carry children." She eventually deleted that post, then a few months later announced she was pregnant. She's not in a relationship and hasn't revealed who the father is. Our family genuinely wouldn't have a problem with her having a child out of wedlock or whatever, but she's being super cagey about his identity. She floated IVF around at first, but A, there's no way she could have afforded that, and B, she refuses to confirm or deny it. W is the kind of person who loves taking pictures and daily selfies for Insta, no shade, just setting the scene. Ever since she made the announcement, she hasn't posted any photos of herself. My mom thought that was really weird. As excited as W is to be a mom, shouldn't she be taking more pictures of her baby bump? No one has seen W in person since she announced the pregnancy. She was pretty close with her sisters Y and Z, but suddenly she's been impossible to meet up with. If they offered to drop food off for her lunch, she works in a demanding field. She has a million reasons why they can't come by, despite them being more than welcome pre-announcement. She had a baby shower a few weeks ago that was being organized by a friend of hers. On the day of the shower, our family members arrived to the listed address, but couldn't find the party. They called, texted her to ask for her to come out to find them, and she blocked them. They never got to see her. W's now announced that she's having a second baby shower, but that it's going to be in a completely different city. It's not even close to her hometown, where her family still lives. My concern is that W might be going through some kind of mental health crisis. My mom is also afraid she might try to kidnap an infant or hurt someone. I guess I don't know how to approach this situation and I'm looking for advice. At best, maybe she had a one-night stand and she's ashamed, but that wouldn't explain her refusing to see us. She could be lying, but she has a baby registry and everything. She could be planning to adopt, but again our family really wouldn't have an issue with that, so it still doesn't explain her secrecy. Or again, she's having a mental health crisis and needs professional help. She recently moved and hasn't given anyone her address, and her job is in an office building that has private parking, so I don't think we could catch her going to or from work without creating an incident, and I wouldn't want to put her job in jeopardy for nothing. What should we do? TLDR cousin has been incredibly secretive about her pregnancy and we think she might be faking it. How can we help? Are you sure she's not in a relationship? Because while this does sound like a mental health crisis, it also sounds like the way someone isolates themselves in an abusive relationship. If she's with a new guy who's super controlling, everything still makes sense. Social services welfare checkup. Tell them her family has reason to believe she may be a danger to others and have been unable to meet up with her to confirm she isn't in crisis. If they seem skeptical, give them the full rundown that you gave here. If the sisters are willing to speak, that would help. Definitely get a welfare check. I think you should be able to give her information to the police, name, age, etc. And they can find her in their system via a driver's license. Are you in an area where adoption or surrogacy might be frowned upon? Is it possible she's a lesbian and her partner is pregnant but doesn't feel safe to come out about it? If you know what time she gets off work, you could have someone she wouldn't recognize follow her when she leaves the lot. Even if they can't catch a look at her once she's home, you'll at least know where she lives and can plan further steps from there. It does sound like she's possibly having a mental health crisis. Her sisters may need to step in once you have her new address. One thing to consider about her not taking pictures, showing off her baby bump from personal experience. When I was pregnant I didn't feel like myself. I ended up gaining a ton of weight and didn't feel at home in my body. I have 0 pictures of myself while pregnant when before I would take selfies, outfit pictures fairly regularly. I wouldn't post them most of the time. All this to say, I wonder if your cousin is someone who seeks external validation based on her appearance on an unhealthy level. If she is struggling with how she looks, maybe that's why she would be avoiding everyone. I hope she's not going through a serious mental health crisis. Please update us when you can. I, 22F, went through my BF's 24M phone and I'm shocked. Me and my boyfriend been together for a little while now and we recently moved in together. The relationship been going so well. I felt loved, heard and seen. We even were talking about getting engaged. He has 2 phones because he recently upgraded. This afternoon he went to work. I was doing the laundry and when I opened his socks drawer, I found the old phone. I knew the password, so curiosity led me to going through it. I'll have to list what I found. 1. In the past he tried, and potentially went through with it, hiring multiple sex workers. 2. He still kept sex tapes of him and his ex and watched a few of them last month while I was on vacation. 3. 1 month after we officially decided to be together he literally texted 5-6 different girls, texted first. 4. He lied about a girl saying he met her before me and she was his coworker but actually met her recently, liked her old pics on IG from 2023 very recently. 5. Recently texted one of his exes on 2 different platforms, IG and Telegram. 6. Lied about me being the only girl he saw, had sex since moving into the country. Just lies, lies and more lies. How am I supposed to get engaged to someone like that? You don't? Sorry, but I think you already know that. He is untrustworthy, and what's worse is that you likely had a hunch he was untrustworthy, which is why you looked at his phone in the first place. He is not ready to be married or to even be in a committed relationship. Girl, you're not. He has repeatedly shown you he is going to lie and cheat on you. What have you done to show him that behavior is not tolerable? When someone shows you who they are, believe it. You're not. That's why you found all of this on his phone. Walk away. Don't look back. The fact you felt compelled to snoop tells me something always felt off, and I'm guessing this isn't the first thing that gave you pause, just the latest and hardest to ignore. You move on by breaking up and making yourself open to someone for whom trust is easy. The lies he has compounded means there is no way you will ever trust him again, and once trust is that far gone, there is no point in continuing a relationship. It's fantastic you found this before you got engaged or married. You are now free to move on and find a better quality partner. You don't. Pack up his stuff while he is out and leave it for him out the front. Go and get an STI test. Go find someone better. My 35M boyfriend has the emotional range of a teaspoon, 27 female. For context, I am 30 weeks pregnant with our first daughter, 27F, and we have been together for 3 years, been through couples therapy and just bought our first house. Too long did not read. We went on what I was hoping could be a little baby moon to connect before baby. It was just a day trip to another city, but I was really excited for it. My boyfriend was on his phone and barely engaging and ended the night in the silent treatment over a simple request. From the onset of the day, my boyfriend was irritable, wanting to do chores and grab unnecessary things before we left to keep himself entertained in the car, so we didn't end up leaving until 11:30 a.m. He then spent the majority of the 2.5 hours drive there playing a game on his phone, which is something we've talked about in therapy as I really value quality time. When I mentioned it, he said he shouldn't have to put all the work into a conversation, and just needed to complete his dailies. I ended up making up a random conversation and he mostly stayed engaged after that. When we got to the museum he seemed incredibly disinterested. He spent at least one half the time still playing on his phone and ignoring, glancing over the exhibits, which I agree, weren't the best in the first place, and when we left told me in the car that he was upset but didn't know why and that it was a waste of $50. I'm not sure if I disagree, but I was still sad as spending this time with him before baby is worth it to me. We moved on to some shopping and I felt like his mood lightened up a bit, although every time I go to a baby section to browse he wanders off. This hurts my feelings a bit, as I've done 85% of the baby prep, other than his sister's gifting us items, and him assembling the crib, hanging curtains. And engaging with him over anything about baby usually ends up with a swift topic change. After that we went to my favorite restaurant for a late dinner. Shortly after we ordered pulled out his phone again to doom scroll, and when I expressed I wanted him to put it away he repeated, he didn't know what to talk about. I basically made up a game where I pretended we were on a first date and got really silly about it, which helped throughout the rest of the dinner. Around half an hour into the drive home, he was driving and kept getting distracted by basically everything. He does have ADHD. One moment he would be staring off into the left side of the car at something. The next he would be leaning up to the windshield to scratch something off of it, or picking up his phone if I didn't find a song 0.3 seconds after he asked for it. My final straw was when he asked for a song and I tried to find it but he didn't have the name right. My phone kept dropping service, so I said just give it a minute, I'll make it work. He kept looking down at my phone over and over again impatiently and said, I'll just find it, and went to pick up his phone. He was swerving on the road, and as I have trauma from an ex about that kind of thing I asked him to just focus on the road. I definitely didn't yell, but sounded obviously frustrated as I was close to panic attack territory and kept my mouth shut to everything else of the day to keep the peace. He then shut down completely, turning the music full off after I got the song to work, and refusing to speak to me because he has to focus on the road. I tried to use a lot of our therapy de-escalation techniques but nothing worked, and he ended up saying, I just want to go home so I can cuddle the cats and cry. At that point I pretty much broke down and gave up. He swerved again, this time hitting the rumble strips, and I started uncontrollably and silently crying and internally freaking out, as this is one of my biggest triggers. I used the excuse I had to pee, pregnancy bladder, and asked him to pull over at the next gas station and basically had a panic attack alone in the bathroom. When I got back in the car I was just silent. Emotionally done with the day and extremely hurt and triggered. I didn't have the energy to engage with him anymore, and if he was allowed to treat me like that, then whatever, I'd be silent too. We got home and he still didn't speak to me other than asking if I was going to sleep in our bed, to which I replied, if we're not on speaking terms I don't know why we'd be on sleeping in the same bed terms. I still ended up sleeping in the bed as our spare is uncomfy, third trimester pregnancy sleep is rough, and fell asleep crying, where he did end up cuddling me and saying he loved me. He texted me this from work basically saying, I love and miss you, sorry we fought, I would like to repair and I am still upset as I'm sure you are, which is not at all an apology for his actions, and due to past experiences similar to this I know will end up in me having to apologize first for hurting his feelings, where I then will get a one-half-assed apology for his part and be expected to move on like all is well regardless of my feelings. How do I navigate this without being a pushover? If we do forgive each other, how do we make up this time that feels wasted and made me feel not at all valued or close to him? Why does it seem like my boyfriend couldn't give a shit about me? Is all I can expect for our daughter? What are you getting from this relationship? When people tell you who they are, believe them. This man doesn't like you and is not interested in being an equal partner with you. He's not going to change. In fact, expect this to get worse once the baby comes. Do with that what you will. At the grown age of 35? This is insane. I mean, I generally recommend leaving, but it's hard now given that you have a child tying you two together, but this is a complacent man and it's not going to get better given how disinterested he already is, not only in you, but in the baby. If he can't even be nice to you when you're pregnant, then when? I think it's fine to bring it up in therapy, but if it's feasible for you, I'd consider an exit strategy. ADHD isn't an excuse for being uncommunicative, disinterested and reckless. It sounds like you're already a single mom. You're doing all the work of preparing for the baby. Putting a crib together and hanging curtains is nowhere close to 15% of baby prep. You could have gotten a stranger off the side of the road to do that, taking care of your pregnant self, and navigating his emotional immaturity. You might as well cut out the stress of having to deal with his recklessness, lack of consideration, and immaturity. At his big age, it's likely not going to get better. I'd bring this up in therapy and see what your therapist says. I have unmedicated ADHD, can't afford the drugs, and I can stay focused enough on the road to drive safely. If he can't, he shouldn't be driving. I'm so sick of people using ADHD as an excuse to be an asshole. He's 35. He won't change. If he won't pay attention to you, he won't pay attention to his kid. Get ready to be a single mom. Hopefully you're financially stable.